Hello, Maeve Chapman. Today I'm doing a little bit of a different kind of video for you. Instead of sitting at my desk and talking straight to camera, I've decided to do a bit more of a speed paint kind of situation. I am not an artist, but figured I'd give myself a chance at it, considering that you had given me your beautiful watercolor tutorial in the past. See what I could do with an actual piece. So I'm making a drawing and painting of you here. You can kind of see that I did cheat a little bit when it came to the drawing portion. I am not an artist. I didn't feel really any shame cheating here, so I started with a bit of an imprint of an image and then kind of drew on top of it and went from there, just so I could kind of get the general shapes. I was mainly trying to see if I had learned anything with watercolor. I don't feel bad for having cheated in this way. Just know when you see all of this that I did cheat probably the hardest part of the whole thing. So even if it looks good in the end, just know that it mainly looks good because I cheated in the beginning, and if you look at the watercolor that I did, it's actually probably pretty garbage. So I kind of wanted to do a black and white image of you and then have like this rainbow cloud of watercolor beautifulness kind of coming out of your head. You'll see how that goes later. But so I kind of started with just washing your skin color. It made it a lot darker than I was expecting, and for some reason I got this weird pink blotch like on your chest area. So I don't know why. It was very perplexing to me, but at that point I kind of decided that it was best to just kind of wash over everything one color and then add details from that instead of trying to avoid like your eyes or your lips or anything. And then here I got another like a blue splotch on your mouth. It was all very strange. I really don't understand this medium much. I made the mistake here of painting directly on top of already wet watercolor for your eyebrow, and as you can see it kind of starts bleeding everywhere and looks like a mess, and I'm just panicking at this point, just trying to figure out how to make it stop. It just became obnoxious and big, so I just grabbed a sock off of my floor and started dabbing at it, trying to get some of the pigment off, hoping that I could like make it light enough that I could paint over it later. But it was not a fun time for me, especially because I just really didn't want to restart and I didn't want to change paper. But at this point I did learn that the sock technique, while kind of disgusting, functioned enough. So I started using that periodically throughout this piece to just kind of take off some extra pigment or like get it a little bit drier, smudge some stuff out. So you'll see me grabbing my sock a lot here. Please don't judge me. It's very similar to the dryer sheet technique from when I did my makeup back in like I think my first video. So here you'd think I had learned my lesson of like doing a wash and then adding details. However, I did use a tiny detail brush to kind of make the hair, so this took forever, even though it's not like you see any details from me having done it this way. I'd had to go back and add them in later, but I just kind of worked my best to try and get something to happen and fill in the color. I've learned a lot from doing this. I don't think I'll ever do it again, but yeah, I did my best. So I'm gonna stop talking for a little bit and I'll join back with you when I finish the hair, or I just have anything else to say. So here I am going back and doing the eyebrow again. Definitely it came out a lot better the second time because I waited for stuff to dry, and I think it did cover up my mistakes well enough that it was okay. So when it came to the shirt, it was kind of perplexing for me because in the original photo it was a black shirt, but your hair was too dark for me to kind of be able to justify doing black on it. So it was kind of a question of what color can I get that won't blend in with your hair and won't blend in with your skin, which actually was surprisingly hard for me to figure out. Just kind of a matter of adding color until it looked okay enough that it was reasonable. Then I went in and I decided to start adding a lot of the texture to the hair. It was still a little bit wet. I probably should have waited a little bit longer, but I started adding in all of the little bits of hair and just kind of layering it on top until it looked semi-hair-like. I also forgot this little chunk down here that was kind of supposed to be the underneath portion of your hair, so I also filled in that bit. That one lighter spot of hair really just was the bane of my existence because it made all of the hair strands look way more contrasty than I wanted them to, so I just had to keep layering upon layering until it kind of blended in with the rest of your hair. My setup for this was kind of janky, which is why you can't see the entire painting at once. I did try my best. Hopefully it is enough. It doesn't get really bad until I start doing background stuff. It's very similar to when I did my first following your watercoloring tutorial, where I'm just like propped my phone up on a shelf and I'm sitting on my floor, and it's either that or like way too zoomed out, so I hope that you get enough of an idea that you can know what has happened, and I'll make sure to show you what it looks like at the end so you can kind of get the full picture all at once. So here I start kind of going in and doing the details on the face. This is where things kind of start to go wrong. Your nose was obviously way too dark, and I noticed this immediately, and so I tried to do my sock technique, which caused it to just smudge everywhere and look horrible. So this is where I realized if you just keep adding water to watercolor, it'll just keep on watering, which is kind of okay. I hoped that it would kind of look like the shadow that I kind of needed to add in anyway, so I just kind of started adding water on all these lines, and I kind of liked how it looked, so I started watering out a lot of the seams where there should be a little bit of shadow, so I kind of stuck with that little bit of technique, I guess, where I then put the shadow on your neck and I put it on that little nose piece, which also turned pink a little bit. It doesn't look super bad once it dried, but there's certainly just a weird splotches of color in some places in this painting. They're really just, it can't be helped at this point, I suppose. So here's that second layer of color onto the shirt, making it still just a bit too skin color for me, but we're doing our best here. Then I added the wisps of your hair, which I screwed up immediately, so it looks like you have like a little bit of really like chunky baby hairs. I did my best to kind of sort it out, but it's not perfect, but it is something. I did try and add like a little bit of texture to the fabric. It did not work, but I did just it added to my continuing just darkening of the shirt until it kind of hit the right color where it could sit between the skin and the hair. So we're doing our best here. Here we are dabbing it out again. And again, it just takes on this pink color. At first I thought it was like something that was on my sock, but I really don't think it is. I think it's just, for some reason, it had a really pink undertone to this black, or just maybe my brush, I'm not quite sure. This is just me kind of darkening in the line works. If there was ever like a little white splotch that didn't really have enough paint, doing that, adding the line to the mouth, which again was way too dark, and trying to blot it out a little bit. I added the irises in here, not the irises, the pupil of the eye, and started just like adding all the lines that kind of needed to be there, like the definition between the chin and the neck, all of that fun stuff. So I think here I'm going in with some white acrylic. I don't have white watercolor, so I just decided to make the things that needed to be white with acrylic, and just kind of do my best to do it that way. Darkened the lips again to maybe get rid of that really dark line a little bit. I think it worked okay. Just kind of doing a lot of little cleanup stuff before I call your face done enough, I guess. So here we are going into what I was hoping to be the background, where it's just going to be this like cloud of beautiful rainbowness of just like all the brilliance of your brain. I think my main thing that I did wrong here is I decided I should have done splotches of color. Instead I kind of did more of like a definite rainbow, which slowly drove me insane, and I hated it a lot, which leads to a lot of the troubles you're about to see. Things are about to go terribly wrong. I do think I showed some good, technique here. However, my too much gene, yeah, you can see it kicking in as I just start layering color on color on color on color. It's like, oh, that looks cool. And then I would just keep adding color until it became way too much. It definitely, this is where things kind of got away from me, and everything started going horribly wrong. The other thing I really think I shouldn't have done for this rainbow thing is I shouldn't have gone all the way up to the corner. I think that's something that, like, filling it out that way made it really bad, and I hated it so much I started trying to figure out a way to make that line better. So I started trying to like maybe drag the color down and look kind of cool, and I kind of liked it. It looked a little bit like a rain cloud, kind of like it was just like bleeding down, which I appreciated, but I just kept adding water to try and get it to all blend in. It was just kind of a mess. I kind of gave up for a while and added some light to your eyes, just because I'm not good at painting people in a way where they look alive, so I tried to add a little bit of light back in to the best of my ability. Did a little bit of other little touch-up things, darkening those lips again. So I decided that I wanted to add some like speckling of white to the background by just kind of splattering it all around. It also kind of incorporate your head into this rainbow background. However, I didn't wait for the paint to dry, so like this white acrylic was just kind of soaking into the watercolor and it just kind of becoming a mess. And then I was like, oh, well, maybe I should just add more color on top of it. And it just, we're really watching the devolution of this whole painting right as we speak. I just kept adding color. Someone please stop me. My too much gene is too much. I couldn't stop for the life of me. It was a bit of a mess. And so I was like, oh, I'll drag it down more, and see, like, it kind of looked cool, but then I did that, and then it got bad. Like, that's not what we're going for here. What was once a cloud has now become a really, like, bad rainbow, so I've decided to dry it, maybe get some speckles on it. I ended up kind of giving up on waiting for it to dry with a hairdryer and just kind of walked away from it for a couple hours. Here I am, I'm going back at it with the splatter. The problem here, as you can see, yeah, right there, is I started just gooping everywhere. For some reason I got these really big dots of paint, and I got it in your hair, and so I had to go through and try and cover that up, which is a mess. And I just had these big, like, puddles of paint that just decided to plop itself down onto my canvas. and I didn't really know how to deal with that because that wasn't exactly the look I was going for. Was not a fan, and it just kind of progressively got worse. So I was like, oh, I'll just add more speckles and then it'll work out okay. That's not how that works, unfortunately. So you can see how messy my fingers got at this point. Like, for some reason, I just like was covered in paint, and I decided to like put my finger into the big puddles and like, oh, I'll just add more big ones so it kind of makes sense. Then it just started looking like polka dots, and that wasn't the look either. So it's like, oh, I'll just paint on top of them to kind of put them more into the background. So here's me adding more color to this godforsaken rainbow thing. It was just really a mess. I should have stopped myself literally like 2 hours ago into this process, but I could not be stopped. This is, I just kept trying to come up with solutions, and just the solutions were just adding more paint, which is the opposite of the solution I should have gone with. So then I was like, oh, I'll just need them to blend in more. So I just like dumped water onto a brush and started just rubbing it around, which then led it to get super muddy and disgusting as the green and the orange decided to bleed together. And you just like, you can just watch it get worse. And it's like, oh, I know how to fix it. I'll add more color onto it. And like that blue, green, and purple gradient over there looks kind of cool, right? But then you've got the orange and red, and it just doesn't really work together. So this is me. You can see me. I'm measuring to see if I can save this by cutting out your face and putting it onto another piece of paper. So I did the color splotches I should have done in the beginning, and we've lost the cloud entirely, but I just decided to paint a new background and cut out your face. We'll see how you like it.
Oh my god, we're together.
I know, this is odd. Hello, Maeve Chapman.
Why'd you bring me here?
It's noon, that means it's time for another German video. So I might have made you a thing. Close your eyes. Got any idea as to what it is?
No.
Any guesses at all?
Something to do with art.
Any other ideas? So what it might be?
D&D character? I don't know.
Keep your eyes closed.
Okay.
Keep them really close. I'm gonna show everyone else first. So I haven't seen the finished thing yet. Okay, ready? Open your eyes.
Oh my god! That's where I saw the rainbow thing in your trash can.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, it looks so cool. Why'd you throw that out?
It was so bad. It was the worst thing that's ever happened to me, actually.
That's incredible.
Thank you.
That's like really good.
Thank
It
you.
just popped out. That's so good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Holy shit, the hair's so good.
Thank you. I tried real hard. I tried to remember anything you were talking at all.
Oh my god. You crushed that.
Thank you.
You did grayscale. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Honestly. Oh my god.
The original, I was gonna have it, so the rainbow situation in the dress, originally it was gonna be on a bigger canvas, and it was gonna be like a cloud of rainbow coming out of your head. It went very bad. It was very, very badly. But ta-da!
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, that's really, really good.
Yeah. Thank you. I did cheat a little bit.
How?
The base drawing I had a little help with, so it wasn't just me like freehanding it.
That's fair.
You're welcome.
Oh my god.
I don't know how to end this video other than, hey Maeve, I'll see you right now, I guess.
I'll see you right now.
Okay, bye.